What line from William Shakespeare do you think is criminally underrated?
You Kissed by the Book from Romeo and Juliet.
Hi, I'm Manan Luthra. This is SOTA Speaks. I'm joined by Bokkie Robertson, director of Much Ado About Nothing, an exciting new immersive show soon to come to Sydney. Bokkie, how are you?
I'm very good, how are you?
So what's Much Ado About Nothing actually about?
Much Ado About Nothing is fundamentally about love, not just romantic love, but friendship and family and what we do for that love in both good ways and bad ways. It's Shakespeare, obviously, so people make a lot of extreme decisions, which leads to a lot of comedy and a lot of drama. But it's about the things that matter to us and what we do to protect them and what we do when they're threatened.
Sounds more like Much Ado About Everything than Much Ado About Nothing, right?
Yes.
And I understand the play's immersive. What does that word mean exactly?
Basically, we've turned this sort of mid-sized warehouse in Camperdown into a Mediterranean tavern. So we've brought in we haven't yet, we're going to in less than a week, bring in barrels and tables and a bar and shelves and real sails from a real sailing ship and ropes and all sorts of props and swords and doublets and candles, and turn it into this Mediterranean dockside tavern with tables throughout the space, and the audience will sit at those tables and then the play will happen all around them and sometimes on their table.
And so when an immersive show with people literally standing on tables, what kind of challenges does that throw for you as a director as opposed to, say, a director for a more traditional stage show?
So many challenges. It presents blocking challenges just for sight lines because you can't have the actors all the way around the edge of the space the whole time. It creates entry and exit problems, creates lighting problems because you have to have lights everywhere so that you can see what's going on and light all angles of the stage. It's just so much, but you get so much from it because it's happening right there, and Shakespeare is so sort of interactive with the audience that it works beautifully. And the cast have just run with it completely. It's incredible.
What are you hoping that audiences ultimately take?
My vision is just for a really good night at the theatre and a really good story, well told. Every single one of the 10 characters has a journey they go on and an arc. They all grow as people, which is so satisfying. The comedy we've pushed to every extreme we can find. The romance is beautiful and heartbreaking and emotional. We want to get people who don't like theatre because it's boring and basic and slow, and bring them into a theatre and just be like, here we are, here's a show for 2 hours, you're going to love it, there you go.
I'm going to shift tact a little bit now. So we've got the federal election coming up at the end of May. What do you think the major parties can do to win over the arts community?
There could be a better understanding of what the arts contributes to a society and to a culture. From conversations with people outside of the arts, there doesn't tend to be any understanding of what the arts contributes to society and to culture and to people in general. I think a lot of people don't realise that what a story does is it gets past all your defences and it says things straight to your, psyche and to your brain and so on. What the major parties could do to win over people in the arts is probably talk about them, full stop.
What can a government do long term to best serve the community?
I think education, as with many things, education is one of the best places to start. Arts education, theatre education, dance, music education. I think funding public schools properly so that they can afford proper arts education. There are public schools that have dedicated theatres and dedicated galleries inside them, and my public school had we were in the gym and that was the stage and there were literally 10 lights and we tried to put on a play and it kind of worked, but we had to push for that. There was no one pushing for that. And it's great, it's going to be a great underdog story, but there are so many people who just wouldn't have thought of the arts as a career at all. So I think funding public schools in general can be a great place to start.
Finally, bringing it right back to Much Ado About Nothing, Sell the show to me, sell the show to our listeners and our viewers in one sentence.
Much Ado About Nothing walked so that Pride and Prejudice and Bridgerton could run. Come to our show. If you like either of those things, you will love Much Ado.